Oh, hi there. My name's Carrie Couture. I'm the lead singer of Snatch Game, the world's only punk rock, Rupaul and queer pop song cover band, but it's heavy and we're all in drag. That is our niche and we're sticking to it. A handful of people have asked me to make a makeup tutorial and I thought, why the hell not? I am by no means the world's best makeup artist and my skills are always changing and improving, but as of right now, Carrie Couture 2024, this is how I do my face. Enjoy. Okay, so let's get started, guys. I've just had braces on my top teeth, so I'm trying not to lisp and look lame. I'm gonna be honest, I've only done my makeup like twice in the last couple months because there's been a bit of a Snatch Game quiet period. So we may forget a couple things as part of this process, but don't worry, we'll make it work. So first things first, for drag makeup, you really need to get gluing your eyebrows down. Now, I didn't used to glue my eyebrows down, but I have started doing it because basically I hated doing it. I have really thick eyebrows, as you can probably see, that did not want to budge, and I resisted it for so long, and one day Miss Crystal Lake, who is kind of my drag mum, but not really, but kind of, she was like, look, your makeup is cute, but if you do what you're doing now, but with drag eyebrows, you'll go from Joe, my boy name, to Carrie Couture, my drag name. Elmer's glue stick, you can get a whole bunch of them on Amazon for like, I don't even know, like £6 or something. Like, they're not expensive. You need to get the disappearing purple. You can't get any old glue stick. Disappearing purple just works the best. I don't know why, that's just what every drag queen uses, so I do it too. It's a fucking pain in the arse to glue down the brows because it takes absolutely ages to dry. So add a layer of glue. I only do the outer half of my eyebrows just because that's the style I like to keep my boy brows like at the start of them and then kind of like up from there. But obviously you can just cover your entire brow if you want to, like there's no rules. And yeah, do a layer of glue, cover it in powder. This is RCMA like non-color powder. It's just kind of like the powder that basically every drag queen or theatre professional uses. So layer, powder, leave it to dry for like 5 to 10 minutes depending on how much of a rush you're in, and rinse and repeat about 3 or 4 times. This is a boring process, so I will come back to you when this is done. Okay, so about 30 minutes has passed and I have done 3 layers of glue. Once that is nice and dry and you've kind of cleaned up the edges with a wet wipe, you want to start concealing your brows. So literally just want to whack it on over your now dry, glued down, powdery brows. I mean, there are lots of different ways you can do the concealing your brows. Like, a lot of people will use Kryolan, like TV paint sticks like these, which is what a lot of drag queens use for foundation. I find that they just don't dry well for some reason when I try and do this. So I also have very dry skin just naturally anyway, like despite what all this moisturizer will tell you. And you're then putting a bunch of dry ass glue and powder on top of already dry skin. And I find that I just need like a really liquidy, hydrating concealer to cover my eyebrows without it looking extra dry and crunchy. Just buff it in there a little bit. I mean, it doesn't have to be like perfect, because you're always going to see the brows come through a little bit most of the time, but we're going to be sort of drawing over them, and also like the rest of drag makeup is so dramatic that you don't really notice that it kind of distracts from those little bit of brows peeking through if you look extra close, you know. I'm going to do a second layer just because, like, I feel like that's good practice, you know what I mean? Okay, this is not perfect. I'm not going to lie to you. However, it'll be fine. So, first things first, foundation. I use Kryolan TV paint stick, which a lot of drag queens use. This is 1W, which is, as far as I'm aware, like the palest human skin tone they do, that's in like a kind of pinky shade. So, I mean, there's not much rhyme or reason to this right now. I just kind of want to get some colour on. Don't do too much up here, at least for me, because I'll go like this a lot when I'm putting on mascara. And then you will end up with loads of creased lines all over your forehead, lol. Don't forget the neck, the décolletage. If I'm wearing something that goes down, it's like a bit revealing, I might do my like chest as well with this. Start buffing that out with your beauty blender. Don't forget to go over your ears a little bit. Although, well, it kind of depends. Like most of my wigs are like long, so you don't see my ears, but I'm just teaching you good practices today, you know. When blending, especially thick fucking grease paint foundation like this, you really want to make sure that you are pressing in. I used to swipe like this, and that is a bad idea. A, you're moving the product around into parts of your face that maybe it's not supposed to be in, and B, you just end up with like weird swipey marks all over you if you look closely enough. So really just get used to fucking pounding this shit into your mug. I do tend to drag down here a little, to be fair, just because it's just your fucking neck, like who cares, you know what I mean? No one's looking at your neck. Just make it match the face, that's all that really matters with the neck. I do have really, really bad stubble, like I literally shaved against the grain before recording this, and it shows through immediately. I am trying to get better at colour correcting that, but you know, one thing at a time, guys. Okay, we've got some colour on our face. Now I'm going to go in with highlighter. So highlighter, I'm using TV White, which is basically another Kryolan TV paint stick. So you kind of want to go for the high planes of your face, essentially. So I'd go, yeah, go under the eyes. Kind of sort of center of the forehead. I'm going to skip the nose, we'll come back to that. Just kind of above the chin there, maybe there. I'm also just going to go over my brows just a bit, because it's just going to help add that extra layer of like coverage. So just get blending that out. I like to just kind of like blend the highlight down into my kind of eye area here, mainly just so it's giving me nice pale canvas to work with when I do start putting eyeshadow on, and it kind of gives the eyeshadow more stuff to stick to. I'm so sorry, I'm trying not to lisp in my new braces, but that was horrendous. Okay, now we look sufficiently insane and sort of mime-ish. We're gonna add some dark in. I struggled for a long time to find contour colour that wasn't horrendous. However, I have since been turned on to this shape stick from, I don't even fucking know, Be Perfect, whatever the fuck that is. It's fucking, look how cool it is though. Oh, look how cool. Anyway, this is in the shade Maple, which works for me because it's like a really cool brown that's not too dark, because I am very, very cool toned and pale, so a lot of the typical contour colours that are like dark cocoa brown, like they don't work for me. I kind of need it to be more subtle. So I'm just going to take it under the chin and under the jaw, which we will blend out afterwards. So that's just gonna, you know, give us a nice soft jaw. Obviously it's a little bit slimming as well, which is always lovely. And then I'm just gonna cover, to be honest, just like pretty much my whole nose in this, because I'm gonna use it for nose contour. Make sure to get under here into the sort of, I don't even know what you call that, the under nostril, just the underneath bit, I guess. I actually use my fingers to blend this little sort of nose contour around the edges, because I find that if I use a sponge or a beauty blender, it's quite easy to accidentally take it out into this kind of highlighted cheek area, which is certainly not what you want to do. Sometimes you need your fancy schmancy brushes and sponges and blending products and beauty blenders, but sometimes your fingers are perfect tools. Okay, now I'm gonna contour my cheeks. I'm very bad at this, so maybe don't pay too much attention to this, but feel about there. About now. Is that about even? Fuck me. I'm really bad at this bit, so just to be honest, I wear long wigs that cover this most of the time. Right, and that's kind of like the basic. Oh yeah, sorry, I should also do this. Lol. This is what a professional drag queen would do. The beige rainbow just helps to blend your kind of like, make your forehead look smaller and kind of like blend it into your wig and stuff. Start to blend these bad boys out. We're gonna say, oh god, no, that is fucking awful. I'm so sorry. I have no business teaching anyone how to do makeup. That's, oh fuck me. That is fucking awful. I'm gonna save this because there's this little thing called concealer. So if you fuck up your contour and it's looking a little crazy, you just conceal the bottom and create a much nicer shape. And then it looks like you're amazing at makeup. So I'm just gonna literally blend this out with my fingers again, just to keep that line nice and uniform. I actually know a lot of drag queens that use this little trick to make their contour look a lot sharper. I just use it because I am bad at makeup, lol. Okay, that's looking acceptable from the stage, so we're just gonna go with it, guys. Okay, let's just blend kind of out this under chin kind of area. Okay, and we're just gonna blend out this little rainbow up here. Doesn't need to be super precise. I mean, you're kind of hardly gonna see it, to be honest. I'm just gonna add a bit more highlight up here just to balance that out a smidge. Yeah, fuck it, that'll do. Now we are going to create a nose. I'm gonna take TV White, our pale highlighting shade. And I'm literally going to take my finger, start at the bridge of my nose, is that what it's called? The bit between my unibrow. And literally just start drawing it on and then pull it down like that. But stopping sort of before the end. See how that's starting to give us like a bit of a nose shape there. You can do this with a brush, but I find it's just a massive pain in the arse and it's way easier to just do it with your fingers. I like to do that kind of exclamation point shape. But what I like to do to make it look even tinier is take a little bit of white eyeliner, like liquid eyeliner. So there's this white eyeliner that Elf do, and it literally looks like Tipex. And I literally just paint on like an upside down triangle on the tip of my nose. Sometimes I do it better than others, admittedly. Okay, I'm gonna stop there before I do it worse. But you see how from afar, when I've not got horrendously harsh lighting on my face, it just kind of gives the illusion of having a smaller, sexier little nose, you know. I'm just gonna add a bit of blush up here. Not too much blush and contour, like around the cheeks here, is my undoing. So I'm trying to keep it to a minimum until I improve at that. Okay, this side's looking a little crazy. We might just need to buff that down a bit. Okay, before I do anything else, I'm gonna powder the shit out of all of this. A, to keep it on better. B, to make me look less shiny. So yeah, once again, just beating the shit out of your face with powder, but perhaps a bit more carefully, just because you have actually done some like sculptural work that we don't want to fuck up too much. So just take a fluffy brush and wipe away any excess. Okay, I'm gonna add in my freckles and I'm gonna add in my beauty spot, which is kind of a signature of mine. Sometimes I would also put blush on my nose, but I forgot to do that today. So I guess we're not doing it. For my freckles, I literally have a brown eyeliner and I literally just draw them on kind of at the sort of top bits of the cheeks where the sun would hit you, and then just up the bridge of the nose a little bit. And I think it's kind of cute. Like, I've always found freckles to be very attractive in people. Like freckles and like moles, I actually think are really, really like hot. I mean, maybe hot's a strange word, but cute. Like, I've just always really liked them, and I had a lot of freckles as a child, but I don't really have that many as an adult. Probably because I avoid the sun like the fucking plague. You can kind of see them on my arms. Like, I do have that ginger DNA that wants to freckle, but SPF, she is important. This also adds to the running joke in Snatch Game that I am very young. I mean, I am actually the youngest one in Snatch Game by about 2 or 3 months, because Pythagoras is just a little bit older than me. Okay, and then once you've drawn them on, just sort of beauty blend over them a smidge, just to sort of push them into everything else. And then just do a couple more. Every now and then, instead of dots, I will just hold it in place and do like a circle, if you can see what I'm doing, like that. So that you kind of get like a few that are like kind of faint, but then you get a few that are like more pronounced, and I feel like that helps it to look like a bit more realistic. I also like to do a few up here, kind of like in between my brows. I don't really know why, I just kind of like it. I kind of like that it gives me a slight unibrow, but it's like technically not because it's meant to be freckles, but I don't know, I just really like freckles and I like thick eyebrows. So it felt right one day and I went with it. I'm just literally gonna draw on a beauty spot in black eyeliner, liquid eyeliner. About, let's say there. There, bosh. That's maybe a little bigger than I would normally do it, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, we've kind of got like the basic shit of the face on. So using that same brown eyeliner pencil, start drawing on some brows. This is always the scariest bit, because if you fuck it up, oh, you've just got to go with it. So I like to just sort of draw along my like real eyebrow here a bit, just to darken the colour and help it marry with the drawn on fake eyebrow, because otherwise I used to just like leave my boy eyebrow bits like kind of their natural colour, but the drag brow would be much darker, so kind of have like this kind of medium brown inner brow and then this much darker, almost black outer brow, which was bizarre looking. And then I like to take eyebrows like just kind of up and out, and then the tail just flat a little. I really like a severe thick brow. Miss Penny Drops from Snatch Game always says I look like a sort of fierce Vulcan. And honestly, that's kind of what I'm going for. Drawing on brows is one of those things that over time, you kind of just get muscle memory for what looks good and what direction things kind of need to go in. Oh, that's kind of slay though. It's maybe like a little bit, you know, I'll fix it afterwards. Look, the thing is with brows, get them on, get the basic sort of shape there, and then you can go in with concealer and make them look better afterwards. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're not gonna panic. We're not gonna panic. Oh my god, guys, this one has gone tits up. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, we're learning a very important lesson about eyebrows today, which is that they often go wrong, but we'll make it work. That's what we do. We make it work. Oh my god. Right, it's okay, we can fix this because there's this marvelous invention called concealer and a concealer brush. I actually have the Trixie Cosmetics concealer brush. I'm very fancy. Okay. Okay, this is starting to look salvageable again. Okay, well, I'm just gonna sort of try to shorten this one a little bit because I think it's a smidge too long. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because otherwise I will let this consume me for hours. You also have to remember like that when you're performing from fucking 50 feet away on a stage or whatever, like no one can really tell like if your eyebrows are not perfect. So yeah, I will usually just kind of like go over this shape with some liquid eyeliner just to kind of reinforce it a bit. So I literally just take some black liquid liner. This is the Morphe one, but I mean, a lot of them will do, and just kind of draw on a few strokes like that, and then out. Just helps to keep that sharp shape. Looking slay on stage. Okay, so it's time to start going in with actual eyeshadow and start looking somewhat like a drag queen. I have some really, really big palettes from Beauty Bay that are like absolutely massive. But I think today, to keep it simple, I'm gonna stick with this NYX Vintage Jean Baby palette, which is a really, really easy kind of like, I don't know, NYX don't do like tons of eyeshadow, but the ones they do tend to be really good. So if you want just like a small little eyeshadow palette that's good for drag, then go for NYX, maybe. Or don't, like, you do whatever you want. I really like these sorts of colours because they work with my kind of skin tone and colour palette, which is very cool and kind of gothy. So I don't like anything that's too warm, too orangey. Whenever I've tried that, I just look fucking weird. So I really like kind of like cool browns, cool blues, cool silvers. They tend to look good on my kind of skin tone. So these are the kind of colors I'm going to use today. So I'm going to take this sort of powdery blue color here and just start kind of drawing on the outline of eyeshadow. Now, I do massive, massive eyeliner, so I kind of draw the eyeshadow around where my eyeliner is gonna go. So I like to do kind of up and out, which I mean is not revolutionary for drag. Like, a lot of queens do this kind of a shape. I like to kind of take it under here as well, but not all the way in. I just kind of want to give that illusion of my entire eye going upwards. It kind of follows the angle of the brows, like I kind of use the angle of the brows as a guide. Again, this is not perfect, and I will be making it look better. But right now, kind of just about getting some colour on. The bottom is a little further out than I would like. However, this is why blending brushes were created, you know? So just give everything a little bit of a blend and no one will know any different. One of these eyes has ended up looking a lot better than the other. And then I'm going to take some of this sort of darker blue colour and just start to work that into the kind of creasy, sockety area. Now a lot of drag queens do what's called a cut crease, which is kind of like a fake eye lid that's like higher up than your real eyelid to make you look more dramatic and feminine, and I kind of do a very weird half version of that. A lot of this is getting covered with eyeliner, so I don't spend too much time or worry about it too much. So just give that a little blend, just start marrying shit together, everything looking nice and, I mean, we'll say blended, it looks fine. Again, we are covering most of this up, so like, who cares? I'm just gonna take some black and just darken around the sides in particular. You always kind of want eye makeup to get darker towards the outsides. It just kind of gives that illusion of the eyes being pulled apart, which is generally considered be attractive. You want to look like a really sexy fish with really wide eyes. It's also just good to blacken the outer half of these eyelids here because they're going to be getting big fucking lashes on later, and you kind of want them to be like blended away and hidden into everything else. Before we do anything else, I'm also just going to add some white highlight to under my brow, my pretend brow. It's just generally a good idea. It kind of gives that illusion of you having a brow bone that's much higher than it is. So I'm just going to take some of that white colour there and just kind of like draw some white in this kind of like gap. I'm also just going to take a little bit of this highlighter shade here and just go over that smidge. Highlight this like it is just my lovely shiny brow bone that is reflecting light. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it just kind of gives that extra little bit of shine there. So for eyeliner, I particularly like Rimmel Wonder Ink just because it is very cheap and very, very black. I like to kind of start above my natural crease line and kind of go out in a big triangle. It's kind of a good idea to sketch the outline and join it together before you start drawing big crazy shapes on your eyes. And then I kind of like to bring it literally straight down. I'm always kind of messing with different eyeliner shapes. Sometimes I do it slightly differently. It just depends on the day. Okay, now I'm just gonna rinse and repeat on the other eye. Okay, so I've done the other eye. Okay, so now we have the basic eye shape. We just need to start adding little extra bits of dimension. Okay, so I'm just gonna add black to my waterline now. Sorry if you're squeamish. That's just helping to marry everything together, I would say. Oh, this is Wet n Wild Black Kohl eyeliner, if that means anything to you. Okay, I think it's time to add some sort of inner highlighty kind of colours. Be kind of careful when you're doing these kind of like inner eyeshadow colours, not to use anything too dark because it can throw everything right off very quickly. So I'm going to play it safe and I'm going to go with that highlighter colour that I actually used for under the brow. That's also just going to help to keep everything looking kind of like symmetrical. Not symmetrical, that's the wrong word. To help make everything look kind of like cohesive and like it's all in the same kind of colour story. I do draw this just a little bit above my natural lid because I do, as I said earlier, a very half-arsed kind of cut crease. That's starting to look nice. Same on the other side. Nix, if you're watching, you're not, but by some grace of God, if you're watching, you can make the highlight shade that is in this fucking blue jeans palette. If you can make this is like a single that just comes in like a massive, massive pot, I'll buy the shit out of it. It gets fucking everywhere, like it leaks into the other bits of the palette. It kind of breaks apart, which maybe isn't great, but I just love how it looks. I am also gonna go under here, make our eyes look nice and sparkly and opened up. I think I also just kind of like these kind of cold silvery blue type colors because my eyes are that kind of like bluey grey color naturally, so these kind of colors just really help them to pop and look fancy. Don't take it too far along, so stop around halfway. Okay, this looking nice. This is a little sus, but don't look at that. Everything else is looking absolutely lovely. I'm not gonna lie, I was filming this and I was worried that this was gonna actually turn out really bad, but it's going okay. This is not the best makeup I've ever done, but I'm on a bit of a time constraint, so I'm trying to be realistic. Also, often when we get ready for gigs, I have limited time to actually do makeup, so you get very good at skipping certain steps or taking liberties with the truth, shall we say. I don't think that actually makes sense in this context, but you know what I kind of mean. This is a PSA to any gigs or promoters or venues who want to book Snatch Game. I implore you to just kind of like know what you are booking. If there's nowhere for us to get ready and we can't come early to get in drag, then what are we supposed to do? You know, sometimes you're playing in like maybe not the most progressive areas. Even in Manchester, my home, like most of our home city, which is gay as fuck, it's still not like walking around, especially in the day, as a drag queen or with drag makeup on, because it's just intimidating. And I have been in the gay village in Manchester, called the T-slur and had, you know, obscenity shouted at me while in drag. Like, it is scary to be around in drag. Like, people don't understand that. Like it's cute at the gig, but I don't like being outside, just living, like walking around places in full face. Like, people are weird. So yeah, if you want to hire Snatch Game, I would recommend somewhere where we can get changed, preferably not with a bunch of other bands, and ideally we need 3 hours minimum of getting ready time, because believe it or not, this does not happen in an instant. Like, I think some people think that like we can just like woof, like fucking Superman, click, Clark Kent, whatever, and just turn into this. And it's like, this is a 3-hour process, sir. Just bear in mind that this takes a while and it's a lot of effort. Sorry, that was a lot of pent up feelings. I just had to like get out of my system. This has been building for a long time. Okay, so I'm just gonna take some white and I'm just gonna do some, I don't even know what to call it, line work of some description. So I really like to take, so this is the white, what is it, e.l.f. liquid liner that I used for my nose earlier. I like to take this and just draw. I really like to just draw that kind of line. It kind of has the same effect as drawing on a cut crease, but it's just my weird little way of doing it. I kind of like to connect it to where my eyeliner starts, here. I'm gonna fix the mistake that I just made. I also like to add some kind of around here. I don't know why I do this. I think I just like kind of reinforcing the shape of the eyeliner going up like that. I think as well, just as a drag queen, any little things you can do to make a makeup like kind of, to give it like a signature flair that kind of makes it your own. It's not a bad idea. What I'm gonna do now is just go back in with some kind of dark blue, maybe some black actually, I think maybe some black, and just kind of darken everything up and kind of get it all blending together a little bit more. Also helps to just kind of like, well, it sets the eyeliner, but it kind of helps to bleed out the edge of the eyeliner, so you kind of can't quite tell where it starts. You see how that looks so much better on one side now. I used to look at so many drag queens who have like precise, really, really well done makeup, and I used to think, how the fuck did they do that? Like, it looks like they just drew it perfectly by hand immediately, and it used to really upset me because I was like, I just do not have the fucking dexterity or the motor skills to make that look good. And then the more times I watched people's tutorials, the more I realized that most people are not very good at drawing on straight lines and shit either, but they've just figured out ways of covering up their mistakes and kind of like making what is relatively easy look difficult. I recently was gifted by my drag mother, well, not official, but kind of drag mother, Miss Crystal Lake. She gave me this Trixie Cosmetics eyeshadow topper, Stay the Night shimmer topper, and it's kind of like a baby blue kind of colour, and I'm just gonna try putting it on top of this. Ooh, oh, that's cute. I'm even gonna put some there. Oh my god. How fucking cute is that? That is very pretty, and now my eyes look very, very cute. Oh my god, thank you, Miss Crystal Lake. Okay, I think it's time to do some lashes, because this is about as good as it's gonna get. I am a big fan of Doll, is it Doll Beauty? Doll Lash? You can get these in like Boots and Superdrug, but you can get them online as well. They do faux mink lashes because we don't believe in killing animals for the sake of our eyelashes. My favourite is the pair that are called Samantha. I would recommend cutting off the inside corners, at least for the way I do eyelashes, because they kind of carry on too far and they just kind of don't look good, for lack of a better way of saying it. About there. I absolutely detest doing lashes. I hate doing this. This is my least favourite bit by far. I like to kind of start it around the kind of out, sort of just to the left, just to the outside of my like iris, around there. You know what? For a gig from afar, that's fine. Okay, we're just gonna accept that because I am bad at eyelashes. I'm trying to get better, but it really is a process, I'm sorry. Wish me luck. I'm gonna try the second one. Oh my god. I hate eyelashes. That is fine. Now I'm just gonna use some cheap ass mascara to just kind of go over my boy lashes. I tend to do the tops and not the bottoms. It's very easy for the bottoms to go wrong. Though I am bad at false lashes now, I used to be so much worse. Oh my god. The way that I used to look, I had the droopiest fucking eyes. Now I'm just gonna do the last thing, which is lips. I do overdraw my lips because I have tiny, non-existent English person lips. I like to use a lip liner. This is NYX in Girl By. I kind of like those like burgundy, kind of reddy kind of shades personally. I kind of go up, like when you're like overlining, you kind of don't want to bring it out, you kind of want it to go up, but keep this sort of width similar. It just looks weird otherwise, I don't know. Kind of just draw a shape and get the outline kind of how I want it. And when I'm happy with the outline sort of shape of it, then I take some liquid lipstick and fill it in basically. I personally do like a big Cupid's bow, if you couldn't tell. A lot of drag queens don't draw a Cupid's bow, they just go straight across. Which, I don't know, I just think it looks weird, like, sorry. I don't know, I'm really attracted to men who have nice, kind of like, strong shape to their lips. Like, my boyfriend has a very pronounced Cupid's bow. I just kind of think it looks draggier as well, like, to have kind of like a nice heart shape almost. Bleed out the edges so it's not as severe. Am I happy with that as a sort of shape? Nearly. It looks a little... Sometimes I get scared to draw the lips on bigger and bigger, and then I have to remind myself that this is literally drag. Okay, so let's take some lipstick and start filling it in. I used to be obsessed with Jeffree Star Androgyny, because it was such a good bloody shade, but he is problematic as fuck, so I'm no longer buying that. However, NYX do very good liquid lipstick that does not come off. Okay, well apparently this has no name, but it looks like this, and it's very similar to, it's kind of a nudie purpley kind of colour that can work in lots of settings. And yeah, literally just fill it in. This is really hard to do with braces. Sometimes I have these big fucking crazy eyes on and I'm like, why do I look insane still? And then it's because I don't have any lips on yet. The one last thing I like to do to make the lips pop just that smidge more is take some of your highlight shade, TV White in this case, and get some on one of your fingers, like so, and just pop it in the middle. It just helps to bring everything forward and make it look like your lips are even bigger. You see how that just makes it look like your lips are even fucking bigger than they are. So yeah, I think that's kind of pretty much everything now. As with any drag queen, makeup is a work in progress. So the way I do this makeup now will not be the same in 6 months or a year, I'm sure. Little bit of tea, I actually did film a makeup tutorial about 6 months ago, and I looked so bad that I basically looked at the fucking end result and I was like, I have no business telling anyone how to look like this. And I even started editing it. I got about 15 minutes into the edited version of it and I just basically was like, I am spreading hate in the world if I upload this to the internet. Like, it was so bad. I looked awful. I didn't cover my brows. I just left my natural brows and just drew tails on like this, but with my boy brows still there. And I was like, it doesn't matter, it's drag. And then I just was like, actually it does matter because it looks stupid. So hopefully this is a bit better. Hopefully this was at least mildly interesting and someone learned something fun about makeup or whatever. I'm gonna put a wig on and be right back. Well, hi there. So this is the finished look. Do not look at the wig because the wig is not amazing right now. She does need a bit more of a brush. However, we're not here for the wig, we're here for the beautiful, beautiful makeup. So I hope that there's something you can take away from this. Do come to a Snatch Game show, we are the best band in the world. And yeah, hopefully this was somewhat enjoyable. Let me know if you want any more sort of stuff like this. Maybe I can paint someone else from Snatch Game, maybe they can paint me and make me look awful. Let's see what we can do. Adios, love you, bye.